Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please, you may take your seat once again. Next, we're going to listen to the founder of Nigerian Women in Public Relations. She's a consultant and also the founder of Nigerian Women in PR. Now, I'd like you to appreciate all of the work that's gone into this event. And I'll tell you a bit of a story. About maybe like a year or so ago, I was feeling a little bit of a funk, what you might call quiet wars, in my career and in my life. I knew that I needed someone to sort of push me to my next level and work with somebody who knew about structure. And so somebody told me about Tolulope Olorundere. And so virtually, I started working with her. For a year, I worked with her. And so I know a bit of the journey, about the journey where Nigerian women in PR has come from and how much work it has taken to get to this spot, to this space. Trust me, it's very emotional. And I know for her that it's more so. So when I call her up, I'd like us all to rise up on our feet as we invite the founder, Nigerian Women in Public Relations, Tolulope Olorundere, as she comes up to share her welcome address. Can you please all rise and put your hands together as she comes up to give her founder's address? Please, come on, let's keep the claps. Let's keep claps. Thank you.
Experiencing PR annual conference. Perhaps it is not 2020. For honoring our invitation and for being here today. Experiencing PR is started as a passion, has become a movement, and is becoming a legacy, both for me and every woman who is practicing public relations and is Nigerian, wherever she is in the world. It has been my privilege and honor to lead this movement, to have gotten the vision, and to have done it. Many have ideas, many have inspirations. Not all of us have had the push to do it or the tenacity to remain, regardless of those the challenges that will come across. I'm not going to talk to you about the theme today. We have very eminent and qualified speakers and panelists who will talk to you about public relations and the power it has to help us all win quiet wars in our home. This morning, my address really is to say thank you to the incredible team that has worked with me so far to put the events together and all the other programs that we've had in the last 5 years. In May, Nigerian Women in PR will be 5. And I recall, thank you. I recall that Sunday in 2019, thereabouts, I was having a WhatsApp chat with a friend. And I said, oh, I had noticed that there's Nigerian women, there's women in public relations, Southern Africa. There's women in PR Ghana. There's women in PR Kenya. And it looks like there was just this very large vacuum waiting for Nigerian women to fill. And thank God I have a phone. I had access to the internet. And so that Sunday afternoon, around 3 p.m., I created a WhatsApp account. I created a Twitter account. I went on Google, found a picture that looks like what I thought our logo should look like. And that's what I think that's what we're saying today. I don't recall. And that's how Nigerian Women in PR started. It was really just me noticing that there was a vacuum. And because it was something I always wanted to have when I started my journey in public relations, I thought, why not? And it wasn't difficult to get a name. It was literally Nigerian Women in Public Relations. It wasn't a struggle at all. And it is a culmination of that journey on that Sunday in May 2019 that you're witnessing today. I have mostly run the race alone. And I am proud to say each time that we reach out to people that everything you're seeing here, by maybe 0.01%, is 100% self-funded. And that's because I also run a PR consulting firm. And my clients, unknowingly to them, have provided us the funds to be able to create this movement and to deliver events like this. Thank you. In 2023, I was introduced to a very young lady. I work with both in my PR firm and in Nigerian Women in PR. I mostly work with very young ladies who are malleable, teachable, and open to learning. In 2023, I was introduced to a very young lady, a fantastic girl. We have a program that we deliver in universities called the PR Students on Campus Summit. When we started it, I think in 2021 or thereabouts, we had an extension of that program called the Student Ambassadors. We would virtually have the summit in schools, 2 hours, and at the end of the day, we would open up an invitation. If they're younger, we are interested somehow in public relations, apply to us, be our ambassador on campus in your university, and start practicing public relations on campus. This lady was one of the 5 from the University of Lagos, and the first guinea pig set, actually, that we used to launch the ambassadors program. And in 2023, she joined me as a staff, the first full-time staff of Nigerian Women in PR in the last 10 months only. The both of us have delivered everything that you have seen here. And so she's going to stand on stage with me. Her name is Mimo Lolua Praise Idowu. She's going to stay here until I finish the address. Unfortunately for me, unfortunately for her, she will be exiting the organization. But for a short while, hopefully, you must come back to this country because she's going to further her studies abroad. But it's so important for me to give her flowers today. You will know praise if you are a delegate, if you are a speaker, or if you are a sponsor or partner here. Everything that you would have been saying is praise. This is praise. Please, thank you so much. I believe in celebrating people when they can appreciate it, not just for people, but for they themselves. And that's why praise is this morning. Thank you, praise, for making the job easier. But please remain there until I finish. And then, of course, it's been a week. This week, particularly, it's been a lot of pleasure to make sure that this happens. Right? We found ways to make things more affordable, to make sure that we can deliver all of these things. We have vendors that we literally engaged 2 days before this program, and they have all come through for us. But perhaps the people closest to me have felt the brunt. They have felt the impact of the work that I'm doing. Thankfully, this year is better than last year for those who attended the conference last year. Much better. But the impact of it being much better is that we had to work hard. And the silent workers with me, thankfully, this time is in the hall. He's not going to come upstage because I'm not the only married woman in the hall. But my husband is here, very supportive, a fantastic partner. And over the last 2 months, obviously, I've not been able to carry as much weight as I would typically have to do in the home. And the guy just allowed me. I allowed myself. Because sometimes you still want to carry all the burden because I'm the woman and they said I should do it, I have to do it. But I allowed it and he allowed me as well. So I'd like to say thank you to my husband. His name is Abiodun Olorundero. My sons are not here. They're starting their exams today. Well, my husband knows himself is. Thank you so much. Obviously, family is important to me. I believe that a woman should pursue her desires for a career to the utmost limits. But I also believe strongly in the power of family. When we live here today, I've told you, I'm expecting amala. I'm expecting food. And I have a long list of food I want to be able to eat. He's the one that will provide it because I'm going back home to my family. My sisters are not here. Yesterday, I received voice notes of prayers and thanking everybody, thanking me and everybody really for pushing through because it's really been a challenging time. So I really want to recognize in absentia my sisters. We have 4 girls in my family, by the way. Dr. Temitope Shobamo, Mrs. Temitayo Oki, and my baby sister is here. I call her my baby sister, but she's a mother and married. But a baby will always be a baby. Her name is Titi Layo Igbala Jobi. I want to say thank you to everyone for a strong foundation. that brought me here today. I'm saying all of this because experiencing PR 2025 will be different. In the last 5 years, I have worked with people like Praise, and most of the time just myself, to push the programs of Nigerian women. I think we have said enough by doing it ourselves. Now we are going to open the opportunity from 2025 going to deliver our events and initiative with a committee of volunteers. Most of the time when we have conferences and events, 1 week to the conference, 2 weeks to the conference, we put out a call for volunteers, and we literally struggle to identify. So what can they do? Part of the reasons I joined certain organizations is to learn what they are doing so that I can implement it in mind. In 2023, I volunteered for WIMBIS as one of the conference planning committee. I did the work, but I learned what I went there to do. And so I learned the structure of working with volunteers. And you will see the evidence of that in 2025. What I'm saying now, it will be the chair of the conference planning committee who will be delivering this address. And perhaps I'll be somewhere in the hall and nodding and seeing the legacy of what I have built, continuing whether I'm active or not. And so in advance, I want to say thank you to whoever is going to volunteer. Yes, because it's a lot of work. I'm going to say thank you in advance, and please get ready. When we make the call, please make yourself available. I'm ending now, and I want to say thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And I guess we'll see you in our other programs that we have. A lot of stuff. Praise added more this year, and I'm like, let's finish 2 first. But we will see you in other events. And I want to thank you so much for our partners, our sponsors, particularly our speakers. We literally just found people on LinkedIn, Praise. And we said, oh, this person looks like who should be able to talk about this. And we sent emails, and people said yes. Each yes we got encouraged us, told us we are really doing something that people will buy into. And so we want to say thank you for silently encouraging us, for being here. And I see my Madam Thelma, strong NIPR president, who really helped us. We are now recognized by the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. And it's in no small measure to Thelma Oko, who is here as well. In absentia, I want to appreciate as well the current president and chairman of council, Dr. Ike Neliaku. I want to also appreciate Madam Chairman of Lagos State NIP, Mrs. Comfort Obot. I'm not sure if our vice is here, they're coming. But thank you to everyone who has helped us. Thank you for the next 10 years. Thank you for the next 50 years, because we will be here and we will expand. Thank you so much, and have a fantastic conference.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think she deserves a bigger round of applause. They're putting so much work, as is evident in this excellent environment today. And I'm so glad that all the work that they put in has finally paid off, and it will continue to pay off. All right, so thank you very much. And thank you for being here, because if they're putting all this work and you didn't turn up, I'm sure they will feel very disappointed. So thank you very much. Say, remember when the best speech that someone said she had ever heard is the one that Snoop Dogg did, where he said, I want to thank myself. So I want someone to say, I want to thank myself for being here today. Yes, thank yourself. We're usually fond of thanking other people, but sometimes you also need to give yourself the accolades. So I want to thank myself for being here today, because it's an investment. Being here today is a real investment, and I'm very happy for you. All right, next up, I'd like to also say that Nigerian Women in PR is affiliated with a lot of global public relations organizations. And so we're going to listen to a message from the Global CEO, Public Relations and Communications Association. We're going to listen to a message from him. Are we ready? Please put your hands together for James Hughes.
Hello, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me now. Thank you very much for this invitation to address your conference. I'm delighted to be able to speak to you all. I'm sorry I can't be there in person. As the host said, my name is James Hughes. I'm the Chief Exec of PRCA. We are the world's largest professional association for PR and communications professionals. I really hope you're going to have a fantastic conference today and that you're all enjoying your time. You've got some great speakers coming up, and I just wanted to give you a few short words on the priorities for our organization and how hopefully they will play into the themes of your conference today. I'm new at PRCA. I only started here a few weeks ago, but already I've been impressed with the quality of the service that we provide to our members and the fact that we have this global reach with members all across the world. And our priorities for the next few years are going to be enhancing that service and extending it internationally so that we can continue to offer a great service to all of our members. That's going to be focused around a number of campaigns. I'm sure you'll be hearing more about all of these today, but I just wanted to give you an overview of what we're thinking about. The first one is around artificial intelligence and the power of generative AI, understanding how that's going to affect our industry, understanding the principles that are necessary for us to adopt before we start working with this important new technology, and then finding examples of best practice. The second one is about accessibility and how we can ensure that everybody has a pathway to access work in our industry. We need to draw on the widest possible talent pool, and that means making PR and communications the career of choice for young people in schools and universities across the world. And then finally, talking about the value of the industry and how important it is in the face of challenges like AI to recognize the importance of the work that we do, not just in financial terms, but in human terms. The difference between AI and the work that we do is our humanity, and we need to emphasize the power of that humanity and the value that we can put on it. All of that we do at the moment in a number of territories around the world. We operate in the UK, in Asia Pacific, and in the Middle East, and we're hoping to extend our offering to more countries in the years to come. We know that there is an enormous, vibrant community of PR and communication professionals in Nigeria and across West Africa, and I'm really hoping that we can get to meet more of you in the years to come and get you engaged with some of our services. So I hope you have a fantastic conference today. I'd like to wish you all the very best of luck for everything that you're going to hear today. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, James Hughes. Thank you for that short but very powerful message from the Global Public Relations and Communications Association.
Keynote address this morning on the theme, Quiet Wars, Leveraging Public Relations for Conflict Management. Quiet Wars. I thought that it was very powerful, isn't it? Quiet Wars. What an irony. Leveraging Public Relations for Conflict Management. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to be up on your feet as we welcome our keynote speaker, the founder, Lead Africa and African Food Changemakers, Ndidi Okonkwo Umuneli, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning. It's an honor and privilege to be here. When I heard the founder speak and the visionary behind this, I said, my work is done. That was a keynote speech in itself. Please give her another round of applause. She's not in the room, but I think what she showed us was the power of quiet wars. A one-woman war, building a legacy, empowering other women along the way, and I think that's exemplary. And I want to also thank her husband, because for those of us who are in the public domain, we know the battles, the quiet wars we fight in our homes, right? To be able to show up, to be the best version of ourselves. And it takes a strong, devoted man to walk alongside an amazing woman. And together we rise, right? We need both couples rising. So that's awesome. And the topic is very interesting. We're living in a difficult time. In Nigeria, in the world. It's not unique to Nigeria alone. Many, many countries are sweating like we are. And your industry is more important than ever before. So if you're in public relations, tell the sister or brother next to you, well done. For still standing, for still hanging in here. Because what happens when companies and countries are facing a difficult time, even though they know they are facing a difficult time, is that they feel like they can do without some things. So they start cutting some of their budgets. The things they need the most, they cut first. Is anybody experiencing that pressure? If you're in a company, you're facing it, right? If you have a consulting firm, you're facing it. And so there's pressure on every side. And for you who are trying to get them to increase their budgets and increase their fees to match what your new cost structure is, you're facing that as well. So in terms of my keynote, I want to just take an acronym to talk about what I think is required to face these quiet wars, leveraging public relations for conflict management. I'm going to use the word rest. Can you tell your neighbor rest? Doesn't seem like we can rest, right? We can't rest, but it's just an acronym, so you remember. The first letter is relationships. We cannot fight any wars without relationships, right? And our relationships not only start within our own context and our sphere of influence. So you need those relationships at home to help you to be able to stand firm and stand strong, right? She talked about her sister. She talked about her husband. She talked about the support network. That's the first relationship that you need as women and as leaders in this industry. You need to know that you have a solid, loyal base at the home front, right? But you also need relationships with multiple stakeholders. The most powerful PR workers, leaders are people who can pick up the phone and call anyone, and they will take their call. I always tell people when you're doing a map, and in Leap Africa, we used to teach people about networking, and we say you have to do your map. And you look at who's your extracurriculars, meaning your village association, church association. You look at who's in your professional network, your educational network, your family network. And I always say, start with a blank slate. I'm not going to make you guys do it today, but go home and do it. Don't pick up your phone. Start with a blank slate and create those 4 quadrants and write the names of the people. Not first name, first and last name. And then the second test is, you know them, do they know you? Will they pick your call? Now, many of us are in this industry, but we don't have deep relationships. And we don't know that we should build those relationships. I always tell people, when you leave an organization, leave well. Because those people are your relationships. Can you pick up the phone and call them? When you leave your university, those professors are your relationships. How many of you send update emails to your professor? Say, this is how I'm progressing in life. I learned this from one of my professors at Harvard Business School. She sent every Christmas an update email to me. Imagine if she's sending it to me. She's a professor at Harvard Business School. How many other people is she sending it to? With an update on her life, her family. And guess what? I started doing the same thing. And who has been one of my biggest champions today? That professor at Harvard Business School. She nominates me for stuff. She remembers me. She engages me. She puts my name forward. But how many of us stay in touch with our professors? Raise your hand. Very few. You think, that old professor, what can he do for me? That's a mindset shift. You're in relationship management. That's your industry. Many of us have a one-way relationship. There are people, every time they remember it's because they need something. Will I take their call? They have come again. What can they do? What can I do for them? They never think about what they can do for me. And there's some people I can never give money to, right? I can never give gifts to, or I can give ideas. I can give support. I can give prayers. I can give encouragement. That helps, right? That you remember me is amazing. So your secret weapon in this conflict-ridden environment is what? Relationship. And how are relationships built? On trust. And how is trust built? On integrity. Can I repeat that? Relationships are built on trust, and trust is built on integrity. Who wants to be associated with a chameleon? You know what a chameleon is? Today I see them. They might say hi. Tomorrow, they don't do it. Depending on the environment, depending on who they're with, depending on how I look, depending on, should it depend on anything? No. Trust is based on integrity. When you say something, I believe it. When you say you're going to be on time, you're on time. And I'm happy that we have young people here because I was so excited to see the founder bring up Praise to the stage. Because of how I've interacted with Praise, Praise calls me after today, I'll take her call. You understand? She even told me on the way here, I said, Praise, you don't know me. If I say I'm going to be somewhere, I'll be somewhere. I only found out I had triple booked for this event But because I had made a commitment to pray and praise followed through, I'm here. So these are the type of young people we need in Nigeria. But how many people are like praise? How many? Very few. Very few. Every impression counts. Tell your neighbor, every impression counts. We forget it. Every time you show up, you make an impression. It puts a lot of pressure on you. When I started getting into public domain and I was in the front cover of some magazines, I realized that if I go to Ebano wearing slippers and a pair of shorts, people are going to write me up. I even get text messages when I'm on planes. Let's say today I'm flying, when I fly and I'm paying for my own ticket. I'll rarely buy business class. You know how many school fees I can pay with the business class ticket? You understand? So I'll get text messages from people. Before you on the plane, is everything okay? You're in economy class. But you know what? I'm proud of who I am. I stay in my lane. Tell your neighbor, stay in your lane. Don't try to live anybody else's life, but just be consistent being yourself. So people know Ndidi is down to earth. He doesn't have airs and graces. You understand? Relationships are built on trust. And the first R is relationship. How strong are your relationships? How deep are your relationships? You cannot fight any fight wars for yourself, for your business, for your clients. If you can't pick up the phone and say, I'm going to call the governor of Lagos State. You understand? I'm going to call the head of customs to take the call. I'm going to call the head of whatever agency in Nigeria to take my call. And if I don't know that, I'm going to call someone who knows that, and that person will take my call. And that person will call somebody else who knows that person, and that person will take my call. You understand? I didn't grow up in Lagos. I didn't have a double barrel team. I came here like many of you, right? Because of everything, the parents are professors. They're not in the same industry that I worked in. But it was because I had integrity and excellence, and they showed up, and people took a chance on me. They're all standing in the shoulders of giants. Don't ever neglect and forget the people who have helped you come here. And as you come up, remember them, appreciate them, support them, praise them. And if you do that, they'll continue to support you. So how did I build a network and relationship? Integrity and loyalty. So today, say, I call many people who take my call. People can call me and I'll take their call. So that's the first homework today. Relationships, do your relationship map. Get better. Repent and do better. E is for excellence. E is for what? Excellence. Now it's tough to fight wars with excellence because many times we are being compelled in our country to compromise. Right? Just slip me a brown envelope, I'll publish your article. How many of you have heard that? If you want it on the front page, you not only pay this person, you pay this person, you pay that person. Huh? Even to get good news out there, people are being asked to compromise. But how do you build excellence with how you deliver the work to people? And I'll give a few examples. How many of you have to write articles in the book? How many of you have to write? Some of you. Is writing easy? Some people, I have had to teach them how to write because Nigerian universities do not teach you how to write. Nigerian secondary school is the worst. So when I moved to America, my mom took me to my first professor. I said, please teach my daughter how to write. Because all I used to write in secondary school was write a letter to your friend about your summer holiday. How many of you got that? All through your secondary school education. But business writing is different. Okay? Professional writing is different. And writing for different stakeholders, governments, non-profits is different. And guess what? It's a skill that's invaluable. And if you write a good article and send it to a Nigerian paper, it will publish it because it's good. Relative to the crowd that they receive. And I always tell people, I hate this concept of a press release. Instead, write an article about the topic and let your message be embedded there. That article will go viral. Do you understand? I have a 16-year-old daughter who's a climate activist, and she writes well. So when she writes her articles, She gets them published in all the major newspapers, and we've never paid anybody. And how I knew her last article was successful was because people were now sending it to me, saying in news groups that I'm on, not knowing that's connected, saying, you see what she just written about the book banning of styrofoam in Lagos. And it when the head of Lagos State the commissioner sent it to his team, it said, that's impact. Right? So how can we write opinion pieces that are excellent, that then go viral? And how can we train ourselves to write? Everybody here needs to be an expert at something, and everybody here needs to learn how to write. It is a skill that will take you from. I had to learn it. I had to attend fellowships, and I'll say one of the things that this organization should do is have a writing class. Where is it found? Not in the room. Please tell her. Because women who know how to write are powerful women. Do you understand? It's not enough to speak. And to write an opinion piece on an issue that makes you angry, on an area of expertise. And for you who are PR consulting firms, find your area of expertise. You can be an expert in every area of PR. But if they say, oh, maritime, the only person, Mrs. Fix-It, is Madame. Everybody is different. How many of you have watched Scandal, Olivia Pope? Eh? Who did they go? When did they go to her? When they needed to clean up something really quickly in mostly public sector related issues, right? She had specialized. In agriculture and food, we said we want to be the point of reference. Sahel Consulting. You can't come in and say you want to do agriculture and food in Nigeria without thinking. That was our vision. So what do? We actually produce content for the industry. So when people are saying they're referencing, do you understand? The first company I worked for, McKinsey, that was what they did. And they still do it today. So we'll say international work today. McKinsey says it's going to take 156 years for African women to reach gender parity. Guess what? Every time you say the McKinsey report says, who are you helping? Who are you helping? McKinsey. Every time they say your company's name, whose company can I use as an example? Let's get it out there. British Council. You don't need our help. I'm just stupid. I love the British Council. So if we said the British Council says public relations means blah, 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 blah. Guess what? It becomes a standard and a reference point. So develop expertise that is excellent. Be known for excellence. Deliver on time. That's part of excellence. Deliver on time. That's part of excellence. Show up with your A game. And being a woman, there's extra pressure on you to show up with your A game without excuses. Do you understand? My children are sick. My husband is out of town. How many people have heard those excuses? So show up without excuses. Is it easy? It's not easy. It means you need to build a village around you, a support network, people who have your back, people who can show up at your children's school when you cannot be there. You understand? People who can hold you up. Sometimes I send my article to 5 people before I publish it. I want people to give me feedback because I want it to be excellent. I want it to go viral. I don't think I know everything till today. I get support. So show up with excellence. That's E, right? S is service. Service, service, service. You know, it's really interesting. I find that we're losing our commitment to service in our country. And it's because we're under pressure, right? How many of you feel like, I don't have time to serve. I just have to make money. How many of you feel that? Say the truth. But sometimes service wins over anything else, right? Being able to show up and say, I will do, I will give, I will support, I will help those in need, I will partner with others. I love the example. That's why I said she gave my speech already. That she said, I'm going to volunteer for WIMBIZ. By volunteering for WIMBIZ, not only did she build relationships, she learned about excellence, she served, she gained skills, and she was able to now deliver her own. So through service, you're helping others, but you're also helping yourself. And many times, people are shocked that we do so much for free till today. My children are always telling me, why do you spend so much time on the phone with people helping them? And I'm like, because people spend time on the phone helping me. And sometimes I can't help those who have helped me. So let me pay it forward. Right? Let me pay it forward to the next person. Let me give my time to the next person. And whatever you serve it, and guess what? You can say, and I'll use British Council as an example. British Council is having an event. You've heard about it, and you say to British Council, my company is willing to come in and offer a PR service pro bono. Why should you do it for British Council? They're a big organization. They have pounds. Why should you do pro bono support for them? If you feel led to, you'll be sure. Right? That next year they'll call you and say, please, can you do it again? Pay me this time. Right? It has worked for me 1,000-fold over. To do things for free for people. Leave Africa used to get people to decorate our event halls for free. And when we started getting a budget, who did we think of first? Them. Because they showed up with excellence. They built a relationship and they served. But in Nigeria right now, we need women who are willing to serve. Who are willing to get out of their way and serve others. And the last part of the rest is tenacity. And that's the toughest. And I'll use some practical examples for PR, because oftentimes you talk in abstract, people won't understand. Right? Tenacity. What does tenacity mean? Don't get commitments to finish strong. You won't give up. They say no green. I don't like how they use no green in Nigeria. It's not no green for anything. It's no green for something worth fighting for. Right? Tenacity is to no green for something worth fighting for, something that makes sense. And it means that you're staying the course. She talked about being here for 5 years, but she talked about her vision for 50 years, right? Now, the point is, in our context, what are some critical PR issues we're facing? What are some quiet wars we're facing? I won't ask everybody here, but I'll just list a few and then we'll use the example of the rest. We're facing some critical issues. If you are in the banking sector, what are some issues you're facing right now? Huh? The banks are under pressure for what? Many of them have been engaged in bad behavior. Have they not? Don't quote me. They've been engaged, and there's a lot of scrutiny going on with the new central bank governor. It's in the news. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Yeah? Are they under pressure? They're under pressure. Are those quiet wars? There are some quiet wars. There are some public wars. There are some people who are going to the FCC. Are they not? So if you are in a PR employee in a bank, you're picking up your phone and you're building relationships and leveraging relationships with everybody, not only regulators, but who? Policy makers. You're making sure that even within your state, your union, your staff, you have a relationship map, and you have to make sure everybody has some information, and you're managing the information that's getting out in the public domain. You're managing the information that's being circulated internally. Your staff are your biggest allies at this time, because if they are whistleblowers, how is it managed? Am I talking real issues? Real issues. So that relationship management is a quiet war. You can't be too loud about this, right? Excellent. How are you executing what is going out there? What are you putting in the public domain in terms of literature? How are you planting alternative stories so that some new good news dominates, right? Is that part of your strategy? How are you creating a buzz around something so your customers are not worried that there might be a sanction on the bank and that your money might be? So excellence around how you're executing the strategy is critical. Now, service, you see that how the banks have served and how they continue to serve. And that's why there's a fine line between corporate affairs and public relations and corporate shared values in organizations. And if you don't know that, have a committee that works along with you, because there's a fine line. People are loyal to you because of what you've done for them. They are. Because of how you've shown up for them, because of how you relate to them. And then the tenacity is how you stick with it and commit that you're going to fight to the finish with every battle that you do. And there are many battles. Many, many, many battles. You can say that we have a lot to learn from what has happened in the last 1 year, even with the tragic passing of Herbert Rico and his family. But you have to say that Access Bank executed when it comes to the PR component of it, right? They executed. So for me, as I walk my journey, I've been a serial founder, Hayes Foods, Health Consulting, Leap Africa, and in many organizations. Even today, I was editing a release because we just appointed some partners, we've appointed a new board member. I have to exit many of the boards I've been sitting on because I'm taking on a global role, and I'm learning about this global role. It's going to be a new dimension of public relations, huge dimension, because I'm the first African to take on this role. And it's a global role with offices all over the world. So the question is, how do I prepare my mind? That's what I'm going to do. As you think about the future, and this is particular for women, how do you prepare your mind for some of the challenges ahead? Everyone has told us for the next 18 months, it's going to be tough in Nigeria. For the next 18 months, at least, it's going to be tough. So how do you prepare your mind? The first thing you need to do, in addition to resting, those are very tactical issues, mindset. You're going to have to say, I'm going to have a positive mindset about this country. I'm going to build a sphere of influence and an oasis of sanity, because that's the only way I will survive. And to build that oasis of sanity, and this is a message for women, you need a support network of women. You need sisters. And if you don't have it yet, you have to cultivate it. I've been blessed to have networks of sisters. One is called Power Girls, one is called HN Girls, you name it. And in that sister circle, what do? We support each other with our strategic plan for the year. We write it down, we hold each other accountable. So sisters, create an oasis of sanity and find at least one accountability partner. How many of you have accountability partners? That person is going to hold you accountable for the goals you've set for the year, your improvement opportunities, and what you're going to do better. You need to have that. Oasis of sanity, accountability partners. You're also going to need to be very, very clear that you need to appoint someone who will be a critic. We all need champions, role models, and we need critics. People who can also tell us when we're falling, when we're messing up, right? Now, beyond that, the final survival strategy is that you need to ensure that you're an anchor in your vision for the future. And that vision has to be a vision that excites you. It has to be a vision that you're willing to fight for. It has to be a vision that you believe in. We need strong PR women in future. I don't think your industry has started. Huh? I don't think it has started. We need a PR strategy for the country. We need a PR strategy for the country because we need hope. We need to believe in this country again, and we need to fight for this country. And I'm depending on all of you. There's a quote I love. I've said it a few times. There's a quote by Madeleine Albright that says, there's a special place in hell for women who don't support other women. How many of you want to go to heaven? Raise your hand. How many of you want to go to heaven? Raise your hand. So to go to heaven, you have to support other women. And it applies to men too. For men who want to go to heaven, they have to support women. That's why you're here. Please give the men a round of applause. More than ever before, we need to build circles of women who support other women. We need to be people who speak up and speak good things about other women. We need to raise our voices in this industry and elevate the voices of them. It's not going to take 156 years for us to reach gender parity. Why? Because PR women are working. Because you guys are putting out information out there to change mindsets. Because you're taking on institutions that need to be dismantled in our country. Because you're telling positive stories about women who are making a difference, right? And you're also naming and shaming where you need to, with integrity and excellence. I am hopeful that together we will transform not only our companies, our lives, but our communities. God bless you.
If you're still sitting down, you are wrong. She deserves a standing ovation for that beautiful charge to all public relations experts, consultants, whatever. That was phenomenal. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ma'am. That was wonderful. I need us to, whenever I hear a charged up, message like that, I want us to just breathe. Come on, breathe. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. That was wonderful. Right, just be sure that you are listening. Who can share the acronym, the meaning, the words in the acronym that she taught from? Who can share with me? Fantastic. Do you want to come forward? Come on, PR lady. Please put your hands together for her. The acronym, the words in the acronym that she shared from. So I hope you were taking notes. I was writing. That's why I didn't know she was about to end, because I thought, God, she could just go on and on. Love this. Hi, what's your name and what do you do?
My name is Clementina. I am an entrepreneur. So the first one is R. The acronym is REST. The first one is R, and she spoke extensively on relationships. Thank you so much, Ma. The second one is excellence. And even from the look, I was like, yes, that's very valid. The third one is service, and the fact that we should not lose the culture of service. The last one is tenacity.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for Clementina. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. So if you don't remember anything else today, remember rest. Tell somebody rest. Rest. You know how we use it though on social media. It's usually very, I know, rest. But remember that rest. Relationships are so important. All right. Relationships are built on trust, and trust on integrity. Trust on say what you mean and mean what you say. Amazing, phenomenal. Please, a round of applause once again for our keynote speaker. Thank you very much. Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, I know she said she was triple booked, so she has to leave. So please usher her out with a round of applause. Okay. We're going to enjoy a moment of spoken word poetry. And to do that this morning, yes, it's still morning. We're going to enjoy a moment of spoken word poetry. Please welcome with me Happiness Godwin Godai as she comes forward to share some art with us this morning. You look beautiful, Happiness. You're welcome.
Good morning, esteemed dignitaries. I'm so honored to be in the midst of phenomenal women and most supportive men. Thank you so much. So I'll be doing a piece and it's titled, You Are. So I'd like you to watch this video shortly. The sound.
Let stereotypes hold me back.
PR is a tough field. Are you sure you can handle the pressure?
I believe in my abilities. I won't let stereotypes hold me back.
Okay, if you say so.
I have worked hard and delivered results. Why am I being passed over?
It's a competitive industry, Sarah. Maybe next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's make welcome on stage now to receive the award for the top woman in communications and marketing, Sarah Palmer.
Grateful. Thank you. This is to all women who have faced stereotypes and barriers. Remember, resilience and determination can shatter any glass ceiling. Thank you, everyone.
You have had to fight your battles. Some physical, others mental. This is a letter to a queen that sits before me. You have helped yourself to ensure your dreams were born to. Helped yourself even though life is a buffet and you are making it through this Q2. We see your shining crown, But under every shining crown is a stubborn head that has nodded its way into obstacles moving forward. So, Edwards, this is not a miracle. I see you rise before the sun, continue to get the job done. I have checked the spreadsheets. Woman, you excel. You rise to cook your dreams like in the Basi until the aroma chokes the entire world. You refuse to be a goalkeeper. You dusted up your dreams off those shelves. You have laid your foundation, and I'm not talking Fenty Beauty. I see you. You have been striking your goals like Messi with no Messi, setting record bars, and then kicking the goals over the bar. Like Thor, Loki, every of your strategies hammers. Success is an Oba seated on the throne that only listens to the petitions of the persistent, and you, woman, have persistently pushed persistence. I hope you know that you are a queen. I hope, like temperature, no matter the degree you fall to, you rise to. I hope you preach your dreams gospel, even if no one sponsors your ministry. I hope you don't be a doubting Thomas. I hope you exercise faith in yourself, make your dreams work out. And the only thing you would ever lose is the weight of your fear. I hope you know that you are glorious. Like the rose that grew out of the concrete in the wall, I hope you prove all of posterity wrong by breaking grounds. I hope you shine 24/7, and I'm not talking NEPA. I hope you shine so bright that even your village people will need to wear some shade to see the light. Listen, no matter the dollar that rises or drops, you are the currency that this nation banks on. They may throw stones, but you are the experts. They're so experts in building stone houses. So make those strategies land off those landing pages. When the storm of conflict arises, you are the avatar. You bend strategies. The elements are in your hands. With a strategic plan, you have the power to calm any clan. Woman, I call you transformers. Transforming discord into concord, you're a shapeshifter. You shape narratives and doubts shift. Peacemaker. Your creativity turns adversaries to allies. No matter the tension that brews, you are the brewery that never runs out of ideas. Woman, do you know who you are? You are the voice that shapes the brand. You are the heart of the organization. You are the bridge that connects and expands. You are the influencer sparking change. You are the leader setting the stage. You are the essence. You are the presence. You are the driving force, the reflection. When many are afraid to tread, you, woman, are the audacity. You are the standard the world is aiming for. You are the change we are fighting for. You are the next big thing to happen. You are the center of attraction the whole world comes to watch. You are the pillar for our nation's building. The voice that echoes the future, the breed that connects together. You are the guardian, the leadership. The nation's daily trust the tongue that speaks excellence. Woman, I have heard that you eat challenges for breakfast. And at the sight of conflicts, even you have them for the main course. Women, you are the trailblazer paving the way for other women to seize the day. In boardrooms and offices, you hold your ground, and through your darkest nights, you hold on to your light. And when the conflicts view the wall, you become the force that brings it down, siggity, buggity, boom. Women, dearest queen, listen, you were a darling before braids were ever invented. Your foundation is waterproof, and I'm not talking Mary Kay, even though it's okay. Prettier than the purple hibiscus, you are more than half of a yellow sun, thanks to Chimamanda. Every expression of you is lush, sleek, and beautiful. Noble beauty, your Oriki should be sung in praises. Your Yanga is verified like Yanga beauty. You are extraordinary every day, and I'm not talking Z-World. Every expression of you is perfection. You are the validation proving them wrong, the resilience that can truly be done, the legacy engraved in history. You are the heart that everyone sees. The inspiration lighting up the way. You are heavily queening, reigning, springing with a bang. And when the world asks you, woman, why do you live like this? Why do you walk like this? Why do you talk like this? Why do you burn like this? And why do you do like this? Look at them in the eye and say, I was born to conquer the world and to conquer the impossible with no regrets. And on top of that, I can do that with a pose and be poised because I'm a woo man. Thank you so much. I'd like to say a very special thank you to my highly esteemed ma'am, Tolo Combs, for this glorious opportunity. Thank you so much for inspiring all the young budding women in public relations and communications as well. I love you so much. Thank you.
Come on, put your hands together for happiness. Godwin, God I. Oh my God. Somebody say, woo, man. Woo, my goodness. I thought my head was swelling there because I really felt like she was speaking to me. And she was speaking to you. She was speaking to you. So every time you look in the mirror next time, just say, woo, man. Look at yourself and hype yourself up a bit. That was fantastic. I think we can do just a little bit more for her to celebrate that talent. Wow. Awesome. Awesome. I hope you have that recorded somewhere. I don't know, because I mean, that should be recorded somewhere. We should be able to find it somewhere online. Fantastic. Well done. So who's ready for our first panel session? Woo! I am so excited. Oh my goodness. The generals that are about to speak. I'm excited for you because you're going to leave this place endowed today after listening to our panel session. Because I mean, we didn't call it the experience panel just for nothing. It's from the generals, stakeholder management strategies that worked. Amazing. I love what we're doing here today. And I'm so excited because mentorship is so important. There are people who have walked the walk. I always tell young people that we don't have to make every mistake. There are people who have walked ahead of you. So why don't you find out from them how they did it? We're about to find out stakeholder management strategies that worked. Who's ready? Let me just see you wave your hands. Fantastic. All right, so we've got four phenomenal women on this panel. One of them will be moderating this session. So I'm going to invite our panelists and then I'll invite our moderator. Do we have their profile? All right, so I will let you read the first profile and then I'll call. So don't come up until I call you, because sometimes when you're just sitting here with the profile being read, it can be a little awkward. All right, so can we have the profile for the COO, Brilla Media Limited, Debbie Larry Izamuji. Somebody say, woo, man. Come on, welcome up stage, Debbie Larry Izamuji. Please put your hands together for her. As she takes a seat, you are welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Up next, can we have CEO Aspire Coronation Trust Foundation, Osai Alili. My goodness, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome her off stage, Osai Alili. All right, up next, let's hear for Lucy Pearson. Put your hands together for our moderator, Nene Bejide. Thank you very much. I'll pass on the mic to our moderator, who I'm sure will do a fantastic job moderating this session from the generals, stakeholder management strategies that worked. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I guess my first time in Twitter, actually. So I'm usually on the panels, so you can rate me afterwards. Okay. Very lovely and inspiring profiles. I mean, I was sitting down there and I'm like, oh my God, I have a long way to go. Okay, so we're just going to go kind of give like an overview of what the session is about, just so that you can have an idea and what we're giving meetings. Okay, so this is for this session, we are so for this session, we are just going to say, okay, Nigeria's public relation or private sector. So we are looking at stories that often go unnoticed, success stories from women. And we want to give valuable lessons from our perspective and industry. So I'm just going to start with some targeted, directed questions, and then we can move to like general questions after that. So I think the first person I have is, the first question I have is for Madam Sai. So ACT Foundation has distinguished itself with its impactful strides in the NGO space. What likely quiet walls should NGO leaders prepare for? Using your example, how would you recommend they navigate conflict situations and manage stakeholders?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We have to come here with a bang now. Thank you for having me, and thank you, Nene. I know you said this is your first time. You didn't even have to say it. You have just continued, and we'll now evaluate you. And then you find out that everything goes exceptionally. We're in the midst of, we're all together in this. So we're going to have to enjoy the ride together, the journey. So looking forward to any other ladies speak. I think Quiet Wars, what you said for the NGO space, Quiet Wars are Quiet Wars across every sector. There's no sector that doesn't have things that they're dealing with. When you talk about my space, which is the nonprofit space, one of the things I remember when we started, I started in the industry, and I know we had Indidi here, we practically started, I think maybe at the same year or the same time. One of the things, especially in Nigeria, one of our issues was the fact that people did not even understand who we were and who we are as a sector. And we used to tell people that they look at us like third-class citizens of a nation compared to how other nations see the sector. So one of the things I had to do for my own self coming into the sector is that, especially when I decided this is where I wanted to play. So I tended not to look at, even at that time, there were not even many people that you could say, these are my mentors. There were not many people in the industry at that time. Now we have quite a few people. So I had to kind of focus on my own. I said to myself that, okay, what are the cons and the pros in this sector? Now, what do I need to do? And how do I have to distinguish myself, me, Usai, not anybody else? So it had to be something I had to deal with, first of all, in the mindset and deal with how everybody else saw us and saw me. I mean, even for my own father, who is supposed to be very, very enlightened, I went to do an MBA, changed it to an MPA with nonprofit look. And he kept on saying, do they even pay? What do they do there? Are you sure? NGO, he said that's something you do after you have finished making plenty money. How are you going to take care of your family? Hey, I won't be here forever. Those things. So those are mindsets that are wars that we have to fight. And so I came in from the sector saying to myself that, hey, no matter what happens, when people see me, they will not look at me as a third-class citizen. They will see me first. So I never, that NGO mentality, where people think we're always coming from behind, we still do. But I find my way around it. So I will still ask you for the money. I'm just looking at British Council there, so we will still ask, but I will come in a way that you will even think to yourself that this girl does not even need this thing, but the people that she's working with, they need it, so those things are wars that we're fighting constantly, and people are always thinking, oh, let me just do this work till I get what I need. It's a career. It's a career, and there's a lot of things that the sector is doing. I mean, when you look at the number, even for us, I've just been in existence for 6 years. We targeted 2.9 million direct beneficiaries across Nigeria. I work in every state across Nigeria and 8 African countries. And this is me that is just starting. There are other organizations when you talk about what people do in Africa. So these are wars that we're fighting and we're asking them, PR and all the brand, changing the brand and the mindset of how people see us in the industry first. And I used to tell our sector people, you cannot go past the sector. No matter how fantastic you are, Harvard trained, Harvard this, Harvard that, come back here. The sector will look at you the way the sector wants to see you. So I have to not only push myself, I have to push the sector with me. So when I started, I came in from a point of view that I'm not talking about only Osai, I'm talking about general NGO space and the community. And so we started working on that. Who is there? Bring them in. Where are they? Bring them in. And that's the same way I work till today. So it's wars that we're fighting, but I know in the long term, the space is necessary, and I will continue to do what I have to do to achieve what we need to do for the sector and also for myself.
Thank you. I mean, I can relate to the part that I could actually studied social work in school. And when I finished university, I think that part of the things I wanted to do was do an NGO full time. So even no matter where I find myself, I always find myself doing NGOs. I also remember when I came, I think even before I got married, and I was asked, what do you want to do? I said, I want to run a foundation. He said the same thing. I'm not supposed to have money to run a foundation. But I mean, eventually, I think that I founded like some other organizations along the line. And then before I we did ISOH together. And I think that people around me just kind of figured out that, okay, she has a job, so she's not begging for herself or something. So it just made sense when we're trying to raise funds. But again, another thing that we've seen, and I think we also learned from Act Foundation, was partnering up with other foundations, not just saying you can do everything. So it's something, I think it's a way that you kind of paved for NGOs and something that people are now adapting and looking up to. So awesome. Thank you. Okay, so the next one. Thank you for the clap. Okay, so the next one is directed to Miss Debbie. So media business in Nigeria is tough. We know that. And we still have a long way to go. So Brilla Media Limited is the market leader in sports radio in Nigeria. And you've been carrying this legacy for over 2 decades. And how did you navigate the transition process? And what challenges did you face in securing the trust of stakeholders in the organization? Before you answer, I want to say something. I found this super interesting. I mean, it's 2 things I wouldn't have married. I know that we're in Women's Month, sorry, but I just would have thought, I mean, it was going to be a man, right? So I am so interested in hearing how you've been able to navigate, doing this, in being in sports media.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. I speak best when I speak from your heart. So I apologize in advance if I start maybe oversharing.
We love it.
So when I think of Brilla, for those of you that don't know, my father actually started the business about 21 years ago. And I became COO during the pandemic. Like, what a fantastic time to give someone a new job, right? I was actually running my digital agency at the time, but I was working with Brilla, learning from different departments. And I'm talking about this to address the transition process. So I was part of the team, but I was not a leader. So when you're part of the team, you're everyone's paddy to an extent. But there's a transition that happens overnight when you become a leader. Now, there are 2 things that I had to learn when I became COO. One, transitioning from being on everybody's level to becoming the head of the organization, but also as the child of the former. So it's like two challenges in one. One of the things that I did, the pandemic also gave us a good opportunity to really restructure. Hi, Bisola, I see you. The pandemic gave us a good time to restructure and have very difficult conversations in-house. And that's where I want to talk about trust. I think that there's no leadership without the trust of the people. When I became COO, I had learned about the history. So I knew that there were immediate things that I wanted to change. I haven't been in the company for years, but I realized that I had never really seen our policies and our structures from the eyes of clients and the employees. And so I remember one of the first exercises we did was like a closed door meeting, no phones, nothing on. How do you feel about this organization? And what would you like to see happen? And it was very interesting to hear like some random things that was so important to the average person in Brilla. So I think that was one thing I did in terms of transitioning, getting the trust of the team, also getting the trust of clients. So when I became COO, I had a list of clients that were giving us a certain amount of adverts yearly. And I did not care if they were in Abuja because we have 4 stations. I was in front of them. It wasn't an email thing. It wasn't a phone call. It was I'm here. And I think that sometimes people just want to be heard. And then when you hear them, you can now implement or tell them, okay, this is how we're going to move forward. So I think that those were the key things that I personally did in terms of transitioning. Now, in terms of challenges, I can go on and on and on and on. The sports sector, we don't have enough women. Every time I'm on a panel session, I say it, that even the people that are leading sports in Nigeria, if you enter the room, you would most likely see only 1 woman or 2. And I think you can also tell when it comes to women's football, just the maybe, I'm trying to sense. So, so yes, a lack of interest, lack of coverage is because we don't have women that are, taking on these positions to say women's football is actually just as important. And I think that for me, that has always been a huge challenge. But even personally, entering a room and people thinking that you do not necessarily have a lot to offer because, oh, now your papa, nah, like, and I do think that maybe that's one of the reasons, and I'm very grateful for my parents that maybe saw years ahead because I didn't know that I was going to be doing this. Maybe if I did, I would have just stayed back, But saw years ahead and maybe forced me into certain schools and forced me into certain jobs because that has prepared me for a lot of the challenges that I face daily. I hope that I answered that. Like I said, I was going to answer from my heart, so you did. Thank you.
Okay, so the next question is for Madam Lucy. So we're going to say the question goes, Nigerians are industrious people, now spreading across the world for green pastures and other personal reasons. Using your experience as a non-African, now thriving in the African business environment, what peculiar conflict situation will non-Indigenous business leaders face? How can they navigate these pockets of quiet wars in the organizations that they will lead and secure stakeholder trust?
Thank you, Nene. Good morning, everybody. Great to be here and share this experience with some fantastic women in the room. I've been really lucky in Nigeria. I've been here with the British Council for 10 years in Nigeria, and I've been really fortunate. As you say, the people are industrious, but they're more than industrious. They're enterprising, innovative, warm and welcoming. And I can only draw on my experience in Nigeria, of course, but it's an experience that's been overwhelmingly positive. And one of the key areas of the British Council, we're a cultural relations organisation. We work in arts and culture, in education, from basic education to higher education, and in English. And we've been in Nigeria this year. We celebrate our 80th anniversary. So a bit like we've heard already from some of the speakers, that continuity, that integrity. So the British Council's reputation came before my reputation, which I hope I've built, the relationships, the trust that we've already talked about this morning. And we focus on working with young people. So as a cultural relations organisation, 18 to 35 is our main focus. Clearly, there are some wonderfully talented, resilient young people in Nigeria, but it's challenging. Yeah, we know. So the kind of quiet war that we face, we work very closely with Nigerian government, and I know this morning when the moderator was asking some people in the audience about what they've come here for, there was a lady over there that talked about learning from some experience and working with government. We've a lot of experience, and of course many people in the room have, and working with the Nigerian government at federal and state levels, particularly in the education sector. One of the approaches that we've taken and we continue to take, we're not coming pretending that we've got the answers, pretending that we've got the solutions. We're part of the solution, but it's really about what we've heard, being on your client's agenda, putting yourself in their shoes, genuinely listening to what their needs are and what their challenges are, co-creating the solutions together, working with local partners who may well know the context and the landscape closely, and that also in itself helps build capacity in the system. So, really, and we've heard it already, but starting off with really knowing who the stakeholders are. We do a stakeholder map, and I'm sure everybody in the room knows about that, but looking at influence and interest, and, if somebody's down in the bottom left-hand corner, left-hand side, they're really influential, but maybe not so engaged. How do you move them up to where do you need them to be? build those relationships, put yourselves in front of people. As one of my colleagues said, not just about picking up the phone or sending a WhatsApp, that face-to-face relationship building really important. And be consistent, do what you say what you're going to do, because that integrity is really important. On a personal level, I made a list, so I'd like to it. No, I came into Nigeria, as you rightly said, not Nigerian. And as a youngish, 10 years older now, but youngish woman from the north of England, people that can hear accents, I've got a northern accent. I don't speak what was called the Queen's English. So that potentially was a barrier. As I said, the British Council's reputation, I think, went before us. In the 10 years that I've been here, I hope I have built a reputation. But I've done that through investing in relationships. That's knowing who your stakeholders are, understanding them and what they're looking for, what they need, what motivates them. Be aware and be self-aware and be aware of the impact that you're having on other people and your behavior. You might have to adjust your style. Genuinely listen to what people need. Listen to what they're saying and listen to what they're not saying. Read the body language. Be curious, because I think if you stop talking and you listen, again, that helps to build the relationships. We've talked about authenticity, integrity, trust, being positive. I'd like to think I'm a glass half full person, even with all the challenges that we face. And be open and transparent, because that builds trust, or as open as transparent as you can be. Set expectations, manage them, and deliver. And I think that self-awareness as well. Reflect on your experience. We all make mistakes, but we learn from the mistakes. We move on and we become even better ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. So you actually said something that as PR practitioners, I think it would be something we need to have touch on with relationships, right? I know that we hear that a lot. Oh, you need to build relationships, you need to put yourself in circles. I would say that this is just picking up from it's going to be like an open question, but maybe if Madam Person wants to answer again, then that's fine. But in terms of building relationship, I think it would be nice if we can actually people here and just in general get like practical examples on how we can build relationships. I mean, when you say build relationships, is it that we should go and stalk the person? So, I mean, just some of those things. So maybe you can give us like insight into some relationships that we built, because when Madam Person was talking, she mentioned something about being useful to people. So, I mean, how are you useful to someone that you're not even in the room already? So how can you kind of build the impact that don't come like, okay, this girl, she's she's weird, she's off. So how can we build relationship as women in business and just kind of create the impact, like you say, we could create in the relationship? I think
We're already in the room listening. We have similar interests. That's already gives you a fantastic foundation. And it already enables you. But you also have to come in with the mindset. I mean, I came in, we were all smiling at each other. You think I've met Lucy before, so it's things that we need to do. A lot of times people say, nobody wants to talk to me, but also how you relate as well. So you have to give something to get something. So that's just the basic. And not all of us were trained that way. All of us, we have different families, innuendos, different communities that we were all raised in. But when you want to build a relationship, I feel people want it to be done in any other way very fast. Microwave. I met the person, I asked her the next day for help, she didn't help me. And I'm thinking, does she know you? I mean, even a relationship, it takes time. People are telling you that they've been married for 20 years, they still don't know each other. So why do you want me to help you the very next day? Oh, I went to speak to her. I walked up to her. You don't know what she's dealing with. So it takes time. You have to cultivate it. I have relationships that myself, I'm building now, and I've been building for 5 years. I've not even sat down to talk to the person, but I know what way I'm going to. I'm very deliberate. Very, very deliberate. People that know me know me. I'm deliberate. At the beginning of the year, if I want to enter an industry, if I say I want to be the president of the PRO organization in another 4 years, I begin to plan it this year and I begin to work at it. And it's not a bad thing, it's not a good thing. It's just who I am as a person. I have a goal, I accomplish it. But I have very genuine why I want to do it. There's a reason. I need to change something, I need to do something. I'm very conscious about it. So you're sitting beside people that you know. How many of us are sitting beside people that we do not know at all? You put your hand down, Princess, you just came in. So you find out a lot of people how many people are sitting beside people that they know? That they know. Don't do like this now. So you find out that a lot of times you come to these conferences, we sit with people that we already know. And then you stay with them throughout the whole 7 hours. And then all of you go back again home. Wrong. That's already like wrong. So you sit beside people you don't know, you ask questions, you talk to them. As soon as you're done, you follow them on LinkedIn. Now social media even helps you. And what do? We are PR people. So we know how to find people. So, and I never start the first year asking for it. I rarely ask for anything for the first 3 years. I start sending you anything about PR and radio. I start sending you information because I know that's her interest. What's it? I said, there's another person that's like you, that is in Malawi. Her father started a company and she's running it now. You can find genuine interest in that person. Of course, by the time she finds 2 or 3 that I've sent to her, we already have a link. I might never even meet her. Then I go to her, British Council, 80 years. These are the Gbogbo people in this country. And then she's now a Nigerian, 10 years living here. You know, she even came more Nigerian than I did. So of course I'm looking at her and smiling at her. But you don't expect that immediately I'll give her my card. I say, I want to send you a proposal. No, we start to build our interest. You have to be deliberate. Nobody, it doesn't fly from the sky. Then you have to have your tribe of people that are helping you. Your tribe in your own sector. Who is your tribe in your sector? You have to find them. Because not everybody will understand what you are going through. So you find that tribe. Then I find tribes outside of my sector. People that know me, I don't pay in my sector. You will never know that I'm an NGO person. Banco, I'm there. Manufacturing, I'm there. I sit on the board of an agricultural company because I started dealing with agriculture 6 years ago. And they just found me last year. I'm there too. So you have to start deciding what makes sense for you. But you have to stay in your own lane. And what I mean is that you have to know what your strength is and what your weakness is. I cannot come here wearing sneakers like these ladies. It is not me. My heels must always be healing. Because I now see them in sneakers. The next time I come for a conference, I wear sneakers too. No. Know what works for you personally. And then begin to build on that. Everybody is different. But you must be deliberate about building friendships, relationships, networks. But you cannot grow past where you are if you don't have a strong network. We all have people, and I know you mentioned a lot about it. We are all standing on the shoulders of giants. Forget even giants, we're even standing on the shoulders of crafts too. Everybody is important. And then you have to see who is more important. How do I relate with her? How do I relate with her? Your relationship quotient must begin to increase. You must look at people and say, what is important to that person? How do I help them? Because you must bring value for someone to give you value. So don't think to yourself, I must take. What value can I bring to the table that I might get value as well? So don't leave this place today with just talking to people that you know. Find 2 or 3 people that you've never met before. Ask them what they do. You might even say, what do you do? CEO, I'm an assistant of the CEO. It's not important. You will find out that that's the most important person. All my board people, they are personal assistants and my personal friends. Because they are the ones that can open the door and I can shut it on my face. So they are the ones that tell me he's not around. Today is a bad thing. Don't talk to him about anything. Don't let him sign any document because you sign rubbish. So, and I send them gifts at the end of the year, more than my board person. So we have to always consciously look at what, and you know, you mentioned, I just looked at sneakers. I've seen everybody here. So you have to be very, very conscious of the fact I want to build a relationship and I want to do it in a very strategic manner. It will help you in the long it will also help you in the short term. But be conscious. I don't do it for yourself alone. That's another problem. We try and build relationships and networks just for me to grow. 80% of my relationships are built for other people. It's not always about me. But in 10 years, 15 years time, I also benefit, or somebody I know will benefit. Someone say, I just met you. I saw you on Instagram standing with Osai. No problem. I'll sort you out. And that's how sometimes these things happen. So don't think about it about only myself, me, myself, and I. We're in this world, we are building legacy. It's not about yourself. They're building it because you also want other people to also benefit from it and also develop themselves. Once you do that way, it's not selfish. Now becomes something that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I just want to add something, because I think I've been on both ends. So with my digital agency, I would attend so many conferences where people would talk about mentorship. And I mean, I was looking for a way for the agency. We're trying to make money. So a lot of my relationships were based on mentorship or help or, make a way for me, that kind of thing. And then with Brilla and being COO is so different because I'm on the other end where a lot of people are, asking for things. And I just want to compare the two, because I've been at both ends. I would say that the first thing is that not everyone has to be your mentor. Like me, my mentor is my elder sister, and I think it's fine. Like, it's not, I think that's one of the things that was constantly being preached to me. So when I moved back, any big woman that I saw was, oh, let me go and meet her, let her mentor me. I started to realize now that I'm in this position, I realize how sometimes leadership is so lonely and you're so used to people asking for things that you just want someone to compliment you. You just want someone that you have a relationship with. The person is probably younger, the person is probably older, and you two of you just connect. It's not about give me or I'm taking. And I think that even like my IG, I have 1K followers, but I probably have like up to 200 people or even times 2 of people, constantly asking, give us radio adverts, give us this, give us that. So when I meet someone that you're just trying to connect with me on a debut level, you actually gain more from me as opposed to give me. So I think that give me mentality, or this is the person, if you don't open this door, nobody else can open this door. I think that's something that we also kind of had to work on because it doesn't work in the long term, honestly. Like relationships, like you said, is so important. And if you know that this is the person that you really need, be very strategic. You won't get anything.
Thank you. Okay, do you want to say something? Okay. Okay. I mean, so I have 2 key things actually. I think the first thing is being authentic because when I started my career in public relations, it's a very funny story. I did not know anybody, nobody. I just started it, and I think relationships brought me here. I mean, so I'm speaking for the fact that since we're at the event, I'm not the typical outgoing. You would not see me outside. In short, they started dragging me outside from like maybe late last year. So, don't worry. The funniest part is that you're on my guest list for my client event. So, actually, both of you. So I actually don't go outside. So a lot of people see me and don't know that I'm Blanche. And I think when I started, people mentioned to say that, oh, you need to go outside for PR event. You need to belong to this organization. You need to know this person. Again, the thing you said about mentorship. And I'm very happy that you said that because 2 things. Madam Osai said something about social media makes it easy. I think that people always see, oh, this person needs to the problem is too much for one person to carry at the moment. I think that you can actually just get mentored by watching what they're doing and all that. For me, when I started, it just took me reading one Richard Branson book, and I bought the next one, and I said, okay, yeah, I'll start my agency. I didn't even finish the second one when I started. And I was just following him on social media, just looking at the things I was doing. At that time, he was my mentor. I mean, I'm not saying he is not anymore, but I've had so many others from just social media. I would just follow the person, look at what the person is doing, read so much about you, borderline, be obsessed about you in my house. If you're sneezing every time, I am the one. I would just talk so much about the person and read up. So I think that what you said about mentorship, you can, and what Madam Say said about following people on social media and just learning instead of maybe directly trying to network with them, and also learning more about them so that when you meet them, you can connect on a better level. You know what they are looking out for. I think that those are like really key things that we can, because I can understand that some people might not be like social people. I cannot say that because I'm in a public relations group, but I have social anxiety. If you see me outside and you think that I'm not sad, I'm just being, I'm just anxious. Yeah. So I think that this will now take us to like our next question, which is really about conflict, right? And in the space that we are in, I'm sure that at the station, there are times when you had issues. In the foundation, there are times when there are like things, maybe it might even be something like an indoor, what's the word? It might be like an in-house internal issue. It could be something that if it breaks out, it can maybe ruin the business. It could be bad press for the company for something that was probably not managed properly or like an oversight. And it just really cuts across. I mean, even like Madam Lucy being in Nigeria, the British Council, I mean, just things that happen internally or even on a like large scale. So I would say, how do you manage conflicts in your organization? And how do you, I mean, stakeholder out?
Thank you. Well, I'll start with a sort of internal sort of example. So British Council, we're a values-based organisation. So some of the values I spoke about earlier, and we've spoken about that integrity, transparency, openness. So we work really hard to build those values and that culture in the organisation. And then when you're faced with, well, first, hopefully those values mean you don't even get to a conflict situation. But if you do, you can draw on those values to help with the resolution. And it was interesting when I came to Nigeria, and you know, I was learning. I was new here. I've visited once before in 1999. But the culture of the British Council and that openness didn't necessarily fit so well, perhaps with the Nigeria culture, if I may say so. You know, for example, I'd go out and I'd chat to staff and find out what they were doing at the weekend and how the newborn daughter was. And this seemed a bit alien to colleagues because they were saying, why is she not sat in her office being the big ogre? Well, that's not my leadership. Resolve conflict internally and externally as well when we talk about the integrity, but really being open, you know, understanding what the other person's concerns are. Don't make assumptions, ask questions, really listen, and then you understand where they're coming from, and then you can look to find a way through that through open dialogue. Thank you so much.
When I became COO, I realized that we had a very combative environment because everyone was trying to prove that they knew what they were doing. Because I don't know, it's like if you don't prove it, then maybe you're out of the system or something. So we actively on Thursdays we did this thing where we would listen to TED Talks. Like it was actually a thing. And I think it was kind of my way of addressing some things, you know. I would just, if you do something the week before, I would just play TED Talk of listening or something. And then COVID, I do think that was like my biggest eye opener or something like that, because COVID no, it was NSAS. When NSAS protests happened, a lot of other media houses were speaking about it and they were on ground and they were covering it. And the culture or the training that we had, and I even had as a sports person, was you stick to your if the nation is falling apart, you stick to your sports. But then here we were, where every young person, myself inclusive, everyone was talking about this one thing. And people were calling into the station and our guys were cutting off the calls because you stick to your sports. And then it got to the point where people were actively tweeting about it, even tweeting at me, that's almost like we're against the stand of young people. And there's nothing that will humble you like a Twitter drag, you know. And yeah, and that one thing, I think I didn't even at the time, I would say that I didn't have the expertise at the time to handle that. So my first thing was I called one of my biggest, and it goes back to relationships, because I called one of my biggest PR events, and I'm like, how do I even handle this? And then he said, you open your lines, you don't stick to your spots. You open it, you let people talk, and if NBC wants to fine you, you pay that fine. And that's what we did. And what I realized from that was, even the OAPs, they wanted to talk, but because we had given the rules that you stick to your spots, everyone was like, okay. So even internally, the OAPs felt like, as an organization, we also did not care about the people. So I think that for me, that was like my biggest, when I think of conflict resolution, that's my biggest example to this, because they dragged us, they dragged me, yeah, it was tough.
I can imagine.
I love that example, and I'll stick to your spot. When it was October 2020 when the NSAS and British Council was similar as a UK organisation. We're not supposed to comment. We are an apolitical organisation. We're not supposed to comment on politics in country. Very mindful to the way we're guests in Nigeria. But I got onto corporate communications in London and I said this, I know what our organisation's position is. This is too important not to comment. This is too important. It's not about what NSAS was about, was it? It was more than that. And I said, this is too important. And we're an organisation that focuses on young people. We cannot remain silent. And so we put a statement out that was unheard of, but yeah, quiet war, that was one. Yeah, but it's a lovely example. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the examples. I mean, I feel like that's like a very clear picture of what's the quiet wars that go on behind the curtains. So this just brings me like to the next question, but I think somehow we've kind of answered that, talking about innovative strategies and approaches that we can use to effectively manage. But I think the answers already kind of touched on that, and just creating a window for people to be able to express themselves. We'll just move to the other question, which is, so in your opinion, what role does effective stakeholder management play in successfully resolving conflicts within an organization?
I think they've also answered it. It helps with open communication. I know, and I'm trying to make sure that we link everything with what keynote speakers spoke about as well. It does helps to promote open communication and transparency, because as she mentioned, you can't be in a country and your stakeholders are young people and they are not allowing them to speak their mind, so it's things that we need to think about. You see, we also, it's very interesting how we all are. We have organizations that have rules and regulations, and they are important for you to know. But then when you're doing public relations as well, there's so many things that happen. Things happen. I mean, with us as an NGO, we have 4 focus areas. And when COVID comes in, COVID is not anything, of course, nobody planned for it. And then you start asking yourself, where do we get the funding? Because we are very focused on some specific things. And then you have to ask yourself questions. So you have to be very open. You have to be able to communicate, get feedback. What is important to you in the community at this time. And then you know that you're not deviating completely from where you stand, but at this season, we have to. And that's where leadership comes into play, where you can speak your mind, where you can ask questions, where you can say, you have to fight power sometimes to say, look, this is what is happening, but we need to do it in a certain way. And so those things are important. You have to also, people must trust you. The board must be able to trust her in where she can pick up the phone in London to say, this is why we need to do this. And the board must trust you to say, you're making the right decision at this time. There's some decisions I've had to make without even going to get board resolutions. But when I come back, because they trust my leadership skills, they know that even if I've made a mistake, we can always find a way around it. Mistakes must be made. There's no one that can be in leadership and say that they will not make mistakes. I am always prepared to make a mistake. I know it's going to happen. So I'm prepared to say, if this happens, what do I do? And that's why you also have to have good people around you to tell you that you're making a mistake as well. And tell you the truth. I have people that work with me that can come into my room, lock the door, and say, you messed up. And how do we retrace our steps? And you must not be too proud. As a leader, ego must be the least of your problem. Yes, I can walk in, I can learn from a 10-year-old, a 50-year-old, 100-year-old person. Because I believe constantly, nobody can know everything. And so you have to open your mind as a human being as well to say, I'm constantly learning, constantly changing, I'm constantly building. So open communication, being open, willing to change and be flexible to changes that you see. Because even in this country today, we don't know what's going to happen another month. So even as PR people, you must be ready. You must just be ready as things happen. You know, we lost someone that was close to our foundation just a few months ago. If they had told me that it was going to happen, we shut down. We practically did not work for everybody. But nobody was ready for it. That doesn't tell you you're not going to know. So it's coming. So these things happen. So how do you manage the situation? What do you do? How do you move forward from it? And how do you bring your stakeholders? Because sometimes the stakeholders are the ones that will help you fight your battle. Because they will keep on saying, they've done a good job. They changed this thing. You know, so you have to make sure your stakeholders know what's going on. You have to bring them in and you have to make them understand why you're doing this in the first place. Communication is so key. You have to be very open about it. And sometimes communication is so key that you have to be very closed about it. It's not everything that you must go out and start battling about. And that's what fight wars are, where you battle at the back end. So know how to fight every battle. Some battles will go in front with everything that is necessary. So then you quietly do it and sit down quietly and let others fight for you.
So much. Thank you. So we're just going to we're kind of almost done. So we're just going to do some advice. If you have, I think you already did the whole advice. Even me, I was already inspired. So I'm just going to, I don't know if you have anything to advise. Tell us in terms of fighting conflicts and what you think you can do. Just like an advice for general.
Okay, I guess I would just say be open to change because things are always changing. Maybe, I don't know if it's just my sector, but it's like every 3 months there's something else. So you have to be open to change and then humble yourself. I wish that I also knew this early on. I wouldn't have made as many mistakes that I made when I first became COO. Humble yourself. Before you change anything, understand the environment before you implement change. And I think that as a successor of a business, I came with, ready things that, we're going to do this day 1, 3 months after we're going to do this. But it's like there's a reason, 4 years after of being CEO, I now understand why my father was actively doing some of the things that he was doing. Because now we're the ones paying the diesel. So you know how it feels, and you're responsible for 100 people. So I would say that, understand before you change things, even as a PR expert or conflict management, listen to both sides before you now decide how you want to move. Thank you. Thank you. Martin, listen. So I won't read my list again. You're all paying attention very well. There's a phrase that's actually derived from the Bible about you treat others as you would like to be treated. I think we need to do better than that. I think we need to treat others how they want to be treated.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So This brings us to the end. We want to say one something.
know you. I mean, a lot of times we walk in other people's shoes and we see people and we just want to be like them. And you don't know when you take up that person's life. But you have to find out who you are. Because that's what enables you to do everything else, the values. So take time out, every one of us, to know who you are as a person. It helps you to fight your battles better. It helps you to be quiet better. I'm a very boisterous person, but people that know me to know I'm very quiet. So I know myself. I just will not, I used to be anybody else. And you have to get to that place where you're comfortable and content into being who you are, as you say. And once you get there, it makes things a bit easier for you. And it makes you, because we're going to, the world is getting even more difficult to live in. And if you are living in somebody else's shoes, you just will not be able to succeed. So you have to be, say, Lucy has to be listening, Debbie has to be ready, and you have to be you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you to our lovely panelists. It was lovely to meet you, Ms. Debbie. Thank you, Madam Said. Thank you, Madam. Thanks.
Round of applause. Can we take pictures, please? Yeah, we're gonna take pictures. Wow, that was amazing, wasn't it? That was super amazing. Felt like big sisters, real mentors advising. Pardon? Yes, please. Can Tolu please? Is Tolu here? Yes, just right here. Is Tolu here, please? Can someone get Tolu as fast as possible? Whilst they're taking pictures, I'd just like one or two people to tell me something you're taking away. So just show me by raising your hands. Take away from what you heard. Oh, fantastic. I love really bold people who are always willing to go first. Please tell us your name, what you do, and your takeaway from this panel.
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Noimot Absalabaligan. I'm very happy to be here because coming from the health field to public relations is a big deal. So, like you said, a big sister kind of discussion. I feel that the health space has been at the mercy of a lot of sentimental talk in the media and listening to them on ways on how to solve relationships.
One more person. I want you to be a man, please. We open the doors to the men because we don't want it to just be. So we haven't had any man say anything here today. So, like the gentleman. Oh, fantastic. Hello, what's your name? And tell us.
My name is Benson. There's nothing that will humble you like being dragged on Twitter.
Truly, I've had a mini drag experience once. Trust me, it is not funny. But once again, please, a round of applause for the phenomenal ladies from panel section 1. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so we're going to have a break soon. Join our breaks. We were here last week. Our breaks are not just breaks. One of the things that our big sister Said said was that when you come to an environment like this, don't just stick to the people you know. You already know them. Okay. You already know them. I'm getting signals from there, so I need to. Do you take pictures with them, Tolu? Oh, you didn't. Okay, we'd like you to come and take pictures with people in panel session 1, please. So please, I would like to ask you to kindly come to the front again so that Tolu can take a picture with you. Please put your hands together for them as you come forward. So the founder of Nigerian PR take pictures with the ladies from the first panel. All right? And I'd like to ask our Weber Bank representative to please get ready to come up for your presentation. Weber Bank is one of our sponsors, as you can see. So they're going to be doing a short presentation. All right, so shall we have the Weber Bank presentation very quickly? And then we'll move on to do something that's extra special about today. There's something extra special. From a woman who cares to listen to the woman. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, like I said, we have something special happening here today as well. So, I mean, apart from all of the work that's been put into make sure this event, we all know it's a success already, right? I mean, even just from the first panel, I can say it's a success. I have another loaded panel coming on. But one other thing thing that I don't know how to find time to do at a team. They've actually also published a book, and we're launching that book this morning. Please put your hands together for the Nigerian women in PR team and Tony Nobe Olorunjero. I don't know how she finds the time. She is a superwoman indeed. So we're going to be launching surrounded by men. She's surrounded by men, that's why. Okay, all right. So now, the men that have been supporting and surrounding Tolu, we're going to be calling on you to launch these books. Can I have a copy? Can I have a copy of our book, please? And a magazine. They have a magazine, a book. I trust me, Tolu needs to write a book
On how to do everything. On how to do everything and still come up looking good. Can I please have a copy of the book so that we can launch this amazing work? I love books because you can speak and it's good because oftentimes when people leave, they'll remember a few things. For books, you can always go back to. We've got the magazine, we've got the book. Hey, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for experiencing public relations. 9 women, 9 perspectives. This is amazing, amazing, amazing work. And I mean, we're not selling this book today, but we're launching this book. I know when it comes to launches, we always have to put money where our mouth is. People have, done so much to put this together. I know that, you can see the quality of this magazine. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I believe, okay, great. So I'm going to be calling on a few people. Okay, so this is coming on. No problem. You want to tell us how you're able to
Say anything about the book? Please, we apologize for the slight mix-up, but I just want to invite one of our very esteemed PR professionals in Nigeria. She's obviously a woman. The book is mostly written by female contributors, and I think that it would be great for us to recognize her first and then bring her up to launch the book. Of course, I'll then allow her to do what PR professionals do best. Thank you so much. Please join me to welcome Mrs. Nkechi Ali Balogun.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's such a delight to be the one to talk about these publications. Yesterday, I was with a professor in Unilag, and he was asking me about the concept of public relations. And beyond that, he was also asking me the meaning of public relations. And I said, you know what? I'm not a professor, but I've been in my industry long enough to know certain things about my industry and about my discipline. But watching everything going on here today, I just also discovered that we don't talk about PR enough, and we don't have enough information, especially among the so-called Gen what? Gen what? Some of us just come, I'm in public relations. And if I'm to ask you what is the meaning of public relations, to just give me one sentence, and it's dealing with people, But on a more serious note, beyond producing content, I think it's good for us to be experts in our fields. We must be able to talk about public relations if you are practicing it. You must be able to proudly tell people the concept of public relations. You must be able to tell people the meaning of public relations, even in your own words. Even if it's just saying, oh, we mend and build relationships. That's more than enough. I'm particularly happy that maybe one of the reasons why we have that issue is that we don't also have too many publications that relate to what we do and aligns with today's realities. I know we read all those.
Was talking about the dynamics of public relations last week in a conference I was speaking in. And I brought culture into it. Recently, I think there's one man here, I don't know, his name is White Bill. Is here? Where is he? Do I have to put my glasses? Okay, is that a chief? Okay. We're talking about the cultural affinity. Why I mentioned recently, we tried to bring up or to come up with a new definition of public relations that relates to who we are as Nigerians. Do you think that is necessary? How many of us think that is necessary? Yes, because our culture is different. We are tired of reading copies that tell us how we know people, how it's you. We are Nigerians, we are Africans, and we have a culture. And even recently, some schools in America are talking about public relations and cultural affinities. For instance, we are not in first name basis. I know some people would like to hear this. Can you walk up to your father and say, "Hello, Peter"? It's not our culture. I still haven't gotten used to it. When a Gen Z will come out and say, "Hello, Kechi." Why are you laughing? Because you do it. So there's so many things being done over us that we accept. But if we had our own definition of public relations, if we wanted to resolve conflict, for instance, I'm not going to be looking for Oyibo strategies. In my tribe, in my culture, when there's a problem, if I have a problem with this old man, for instance, okay, you know that the old man is the one pointing, he knows himself. You know that this old man knows this young, beautiful woman here, and he loves her very much. So what do? You go to her first, Abi. That is our culture. So we must find a way of weaving these things, who we are, what we are, how we do things, into our practice, so that our practice will be successful and unique, and will also be copied by the people who we are copying from. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to waste your time so much, because
If we start talking PR today, we will not be here. I want to recommend these two publications to you. If really you want to practice public relations, this is a reference material you must have. You must have it beside you. It's going to give you a lot of information about what others are doing, how they are doing it, and the impact they are making. And I'm sure it's going to inspire you to do more. Like she said, we're not paying for it today, but that doesn't stop you from making a contribution, because you want to see this next time, won't you? I know we love freebies. How many of us love freebies? Yes, we love freebies. But you see, when I was also growing up, there's this pidgin English, they say, free thing they run belly. So, for today may be free, but please don't let it be free. Whatever you have, make a contribution to this. Sow a seed. Yeah, let me use that. Sow a seed today for your own future and for the future of this wonderful publication. Don't leave here without dropping something for this group. It doesn't matter whether it's 500,000. Oh, did I make a mistake? Okay, thought I wanted to say 500 naira. No, it doesn't matter if it's 500,000. And it doesn't also matter if it is 5,000. Or you want me to say 500 naira? No, now. Even you will not like it. So please don't leave here without taking
2 copies of this and leaving something behind. I'm going to start by doing something. As part of my culture, I will not announce, but I'm going to launch this with a reasonable amount. So please join us. And before I leave, I will not just leave. I will be calling some people to also join me in launching. And so, by the powers vested on me as the chief launcher, I call on Chief Yomi Badejo Okusanya, the YPR of Nigeria and Africa, to join me in launching this book. For that. Well, people who know us, they say we are 5 and 6, but I don't know. I would also like to call Bolaji. Bolaji Abimbola, please come off stage. Benson, Chief Benson, come off stage. Shagun McNeda, come off stage. Nine Mobile, come off stage. Thelma Oko, come off stage. Hadiza Olaoshepi BOI, come off stage. Wow. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Do come off stage. Lagos State Charter. Do come off stage. Don't worry if I haven't called this because I don't know your name yet. Benson, don't run away. Nine Mobile. And it's Chineye. She knows she wants me to call her name. I'm calling her in her office. Chineze. Okay. Don't worry, I'll soon come to the Gen Zs because you are the ones that have money these days, not us. Okay, over to you, YBO.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, somebody took a bet with me that this lady will call my name. No, said it, she won't call my name. I said, it's impossible. She's madly in love with me. You would have noticed that when I came in, she started walking around. And I
don't you think this man is too old for me? I deal with young boys.
Please, can you help me explain to her? I'm happily married.
And I'm happily single.
But, having said that, I must tell you about the sheer energy and the passion I feel in this room. I think you guys are phenomenal. Is that all you can do for yourselves? You're phenomenal. And I remember when I spotted Tolu at some event and she spoke and I went to look for her to be my friend. And I am proud that I didn't make a mistake. When she started this and she shared the vision with me, I said, go ahead. And, here we are today. Let me just, before we do this book, public relations, I say something about public relations, and it's my favorite mantra. Public relations needs public relations. Yeah. And we have not been able to sell ourselves well enough. And so I am very proud about what people like you in this room are doing. Bringing people who are not in public relations into the room and let us talk with them so that we can sell the value that we bring to the table. So thank you, congratulations, and I just wish this group the best. Let me just say one more thing. April 22nd to 26th, 2024 will be the inaugural edition of the Nigeria Public Relations Week. How many of you have heard about it? If you have heard about the Nigeria Public Relations Week, please put up your hand. Nigeria Public Relations, we are going to be in Abeokuta. We are going to sell public relations and we are going to sell it big. Make sure that you are there. Make sure you are there. More later on. And then my assignment is to, what do I do? All right. Yeah, okay. I'm not supposed to mention the price. I work for some consulting firm, CMC Connect LLP, sometimes. So I'm going to buy a copy for everybody in the profession or in my company, and I'm going to buy for tertiary institutions, both in Lagos State and Ogun State.
Which means he needs up to 2,000 copies.
Don't worry.
Or even 4.
Don't worry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So please, can somebody take the names of all these people on stage? They have decided to launch the book as a group. And so, Madam Tolulokpe, I hope you are around. Please take the names of the gentlemen and women on stage. They are going to launch it as a group. Bolaji has told me that he will need up to 1,000 copies or more. Yeah. So, somebody should follow up on them. Thank you very much. Bank of Industry, are you sponsoring us to produce more copies? Okay, oh, she's saying her own capacity, but she will do something. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Ma. Thank you, sir. Right. Okay. Oh, let's take a photograph. I want the boldest Gen Z to come up here and launch this magazine. The boldest. The boldest. I thought you people say you are bold. The boldest. I'm still waiting for the boldest Gen Z. I'm sure that was done by the boldest Gen Z. No. Okay, if you are a Gen Z and you are proud of yourself, come and launch this magazine. They form my hand. No Gen Z? Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Oh, please give her a round of applause. She's beautiful. She's lovely. She takes your breath away.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Omani Prince, and I'm representing Wema Bank on behalf of Wema Bank, who will be launching with something. I think my name is Praise Omani, and I'm representing Wema Bank, and on behalf of Wema Bank, we'll be launching it with something at the back. Thank you.
Well, I would say that thank you, my darling. In public relations, if you are not bold, you can never make it. So get that. You must learn to put your best foot forward. You must learn to be bold. Thank you very much. I believe that Mrs. Echi Ali Balogun deserves a bigger round of applause. That was a phenomenal job she did launching our magazine and our book today. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. All right, without further ado, we don't take too much of your time today. No, we know you probably dedicated the whole day to this conference, as you should. We're going to listen to a special address from the Dean, School of Communications and Reputation in India. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Hemant Gowley.
All right, thank you. Sorry about that. I was waiting to be unmuted. I hope you can hear me and see me well. A very good afternoon to esteemed colleagues, distinguished guests, and fellow communicators in Lagos. I'm so honored to be here today at the Experiencing PR conference, which seems like a beacon of knowledge and innovation in our profession. This year's themes particularly was interesting to me: quiet wars, leveraging public relations for conflict management, and it's a testament to the critical role that PR plays in navigating the complexities of our modern society and business landscape. In countries like India and Nigeria, there are a lot of common things. PR particularly stands at the forefront of economic and social dynamics. It plays a very crucial role in shaping the narratives that drive progress and unity. In India particularly, the PR profession is led predominantly by women. About 70% of the profession comprises women, and it demonstrates the strength and impact of diverse voices in our field. And similarly, in Nigeria, I understand that the industry shows a unique resilience, with over 50% of PR agencies reporting revenues of less than 5 million naira, which highlights a diverse and growing market. And that's another thing that we share with Nigeria. Nigeria's commitment to growth is further exemplified by its thriving media and entertainment sector, particularly Nollywood. We have our own version of that, that's Bollywood. And these are cultural powerhouses contributing significantly to the country's GDP and global reputation. This commitment is supported by initiatives like the Creative Industry Finance Initiative, fostering economic opportunities and emphasizing the industry's role in national development. Both of our nations are on the brink of a transformative year in 2024, with the PR sector poised to embrace challenges that include a focus on ESG initiatives, the embrace of hyper-localization, the advent of artificial intelligence in our practices, and a sort of a deepened commitment to human-centric storytelling. These shifts are not just trends, but are beacons guiding our journey towards a more impactful, inclusive, and resonant PR practices. The parallels between India and Nigeria in the realm of PR give us very unique insights on the power of our profession and the influence that it has on society and business. In India, the leadership of women has fostered a great environment of inclusivity and innovation. And in Nigeria, the growing PR landscape with a dynamic creative sector sets a stage for unprecedented growth and influence. So as we navigate the quiet wars of our time, leveraging PR for conflict management, let's draw from these experiences and insights the challenges that we face, from societal challenges to business conflicts, present us with opportunities to demonstrate the true power of PR, which is to communicate, to connect, and to catalyze change. And our role as communicators is more critical now than ever. As one of the esteemed speakers just said, public relations needs public relations. So platforms such as this go a long way, and my congratulations to the organizers. So as we engage in today's discussion, let's commit to leveraging our collective expertise, embrace our diverse narratives, and use the power of PR to forge paths of understanding and growth. I thank the organizers for this opportunity to share my reflections with you, and a very best wishes to everybody here for the rest of the conference.
Thank you, Herman. Thank you very much. Please put your hands together. Thank you very much for that. So we're going to enjoy a 10-minute break. And this break is service refreshed by Real Fruit. So we're going to spend 10 minutes not just enjoying some of the refreshments, but also getting to know new people. All right? So let's get to know new people. When we come back from this break, I'm going to be asking you a few things about somebody you have met. All right? So please don't stay with the people you've come with or stay with people you know. Please, let's do what we are going to call speed networking. So for the next 10 minutes, you're going to grab something to eat, and then you're going to go introduce yourself to someone you have never met before. All right? I know that that can be a little daunting for some people, but really it's the best way. All right? So let's increase our network today. You're going to get that person's number if you can. Get to know them, get to know what they do. And when you return, when we come back from the break, I'll be asking a few people to let me know who they have met. All right? So please do not, if I see you in your chair, I'm going to come and uproot you myself. So can we all rise up? Thank you very much. Let us all rise up as we play some music in the background. Please walk to somebody, perhaps somebody who has a hard exterior. Sometimes some people have hard exteriors, but they're really jelly babies inside. All right, walk up to someone with a hard exterior and get to meet them. Find out what their name is, where they work, what they like, what they enjoy. All right, I don't see you standing up. Some people are still rooted in their spots. Some people are stubborn. All right, this is not our version of no grief for anybody. I would like you to all stand up, please, and get to know somebody new. And then we're going to return in 10 minutes for our second panel session. Our second panel session is going to be amazing. It is PR strategies to win quiet wars in business and government. An industry panel themed PR strategies to win quiet wars in business and government. All right, so please grab something to eat, get refreshed, courtesy of Real Fruits. Thank you very much, Real Fruits. And get to meet somebody new. When I come back, I'm going to be walking up to somebody to find out who they have met today. Thank you very much. Can we have a bit of music?
Here we stand as a people with one song, with one voice. We're a nation undivided and poised. We will take a stand and build our land in faith to defend what is ours. Here we are as a people with one heart for one cause. We're determined to rebuild and restore. Where freedom rise and truth prevails. Our land where there's hope for us all. Our land where there's hope for
meet you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, without further ado, let's go to our next panel session. And I'm so excited because you're about to learn so much, especially for those who want to learn about government and how things work, the public sector, etc. This is going to be another phenomenal time. All right, so this panel session is called PR Strategies to Win Quiet Wars in Business and Government. All right, so media, are we ready? I'm going to introduce our first speaker who will be coming up first, and then we'll watch their profile and then they'll come. So we have Bolaji Abimbola coming up. Let's listen to her profile and then she'll come up. Please profile.
Bolaji has vast experience cutting across public relations, advertising, events and experiential marketing. He worked with M66 Associates, an advertising agency, as a copywriter, client service executive. He also worked with Consumer Goods and Services Limited before joining Media Craft Associates as senior executive business development. He later joined Media Consult Limited as media relations manager and rose to the position of head of media relations and strategy. He has worked on different brands, including ExxonMobil, Bank PHP, Nigerian Breweries, Energy, Samsung, Coca-Cola, Starbucks, Indomie, Lacosera, and Cadbury, to mention only a few. He's an alumnus of the prestigious Lagos Business School, International School of Management, and Strathmore Business School, Kenya. He's a fellow of the Institute of Brand Management of Nigeria, BMN, and Institute of Management Consultants, IFC. He is a member of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR, ARCOM, and NII. He is the Publicity Secretary of the Public Relations Consultants of Nigeria. He has won several awards, including the NIPR Presidential Award 2019 and the NIPR 2021 PR Practitioner of the Year Award. Bolaji Abimbola.
Please put your hands together for MD CEO Dilo Limited, Bolaji Abimbola. Welcome. As she comes off stage alongside me, she's the founder and CEO of African Media Agency. You are welcome. You do beautiful as well. All right, we've got finally Odiri Erewa and profile for Edemeko Uyo.
It's about visibility, it's about how you want to be perceived and how you want to be seen. So for me, like when I'm working with my team and we want to leverage PR, and to get the budget, because it's quite capital intensive sometimes, I have to sell what's the return on investment. I have to sell a vision, I have to sell a story, right? That my management will key to that if we do this is what we're going to get. And we have to track it. So you can't just say, give me X amount of money to do PR, right? It's a nice to have, right? And you have to put the justification. They're different. So when you talk about top leadership, why are you doing the top leadership, right? So you're doing it because if you create a brand around a top leader, it opens up doors for the corporate as well, right? You get onto different platforms, you network, you meet other people, then people want to hear about you, people want to, just like we're having a conversation today, go and meet someone else, get to know someone else, So it's about positioning. How do you position yourself for opportunities that come? So I think that there's an opportunity for PR practitioners to sell the return on investment, to small, medium companies and the large. Because for me, I'm always looking at the bottom line. What is my ROI? And how do I track it? I want to monitor. And then when you're monitoring, you're seeing, you keep adjusting because you might be going one route and you might not be walking. You adjust and you say, okay, let's look and see how do we adapt. So you have to connect the dots. There has to be a reason why they are investing in that. And if they key to that vision, then it helps them to grow.
So it goes back to KPIs, very clear KPIs, such that you can sell it. Therefore, if you want to add something.
Apologies, I have to go back. Why viewers charge us different questions that we're losing a lot of business because we really don't even understand where those businesses are. And I challenge some of us who brought businesses. How many of us How many of us are working for firms? They need us. Schools. It's only when we have some schools having cases like the popular Islam school.
Yeah.
How many of these schools do we have that charge in millions? How many of us are working for them? I want to give an example. There's a particular brand that I believe is the best value for money brand that I use. My personal experience recently. It's called Wi-Fi. They provide internet service for me at home. And my internet at home for about less than 15,000 a month is far better than the one I pay through my nose for in the office and even on my phone. So if I'm at home, the children, everybody is connected to 2-3 devices, and we have no reason to complain. There's a problem, they will listen to you, they will solve the problem. If you have downtime, I don't know, have been, postulating, meeting them and offering them ourselves. So we have a lot of opportunities. All of us are just looking forward to the Airtel, the Etisalat, and so a lot of opportunities abound.
Thank you. Because of time, I think we'll just end with one last word from you about opportunities for practitioners. So where you think there's an opportunity for practitioners, what would that be? Or do you start with you?
For me, I think it's about letting people see the value that you bring and being very clear, very simple, very concise, right? And you have to invest, right? Big companies, like you said, do not start big. They started small. But you have to have a plan and you have to stick to that plan. You can't keep jumping, oh, this doesn't work today, you move on to something. You have to keep, and then you have to keep asking for feedback. So I think that practitioners, when you see your competition or a bigger practitioner, what can you learn from them, right? How can you be better? Don't be scared to find out, ask them, how can I learn and all of that. Don't try to reinvent the wheel, because sometimes somebody has tried it, somebody has tested, save that time and move on faster. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity for practitioners to be smarter in terms of the way they do their career, their craft, but also thinking of how do I stick this for the long haul? How can I keep making little incremental improvements, that one day would turn into something really big and beneficial in the long run.
So stick with it. Absolutely. Thanks, Gary. Yes,
Really agree with you. I think I just want to add maybe to this. I only believe in collaboration. And exactly to the point, we're often thinking, oh, we're competing, we're pitching this particular account and this other agency is. But if you keep going on the collaboration, try to find ways to work together, you'll find that maybe one day that big Airtel account that you want to pitch to, you can actually co-pitch. And that's where you create magic, and that's where you grow. And so I think collaborating and finding ways to work together is key.
Yeah, apology.
Okay, I think she just took that one out of my mouth. I had 3 points: research, insight, collaboration, and communicating impact. So I'll talk about research. We know that that's one of the missing lines for us as practitioners, and we need to get on that, and so that our work will be empirical. We need to invest more in research, have insight, so that when we're making recommendations in terms of strategy, our strategies are on point. And she said much about collaboration, and I talk about impact. I'm going to use the analogy of the insurance company to explain, and that's what's happening to us. Even when we use PR strategies to win these quiet wars, how much of it do we communicate to show people the impact of our works? I said to people, the breakdown of the crisis between Israel and Palestine today is absence of PR. The problems we have with kidnapping, with banditry, with all the problems of the world. In fact, with PR in place, we will not have any world war.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we need to communicate the impact of our work, the result, and we need, that's the PR that PR needs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, panelists. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very Please, a bigger round of applause as they go to the side to take pictures. Can we have Tolu please join them as they go to the side to take pictures? Thank you so much. That was another wonderful conversation. Absolutely lovely. Thank you. I would ask what you took away from that, but we don't have too much time. And we're just about to do the last thing for the day. The last thing for the day. And it's another phenomenal activity. And it's a breakout session, a quick breakout session, where we're going to be seeing the dynamics between a mentor and a mentee. So there's going to be an open mentorship chat between a mentor and a mentee. I'm absolutely looking forward to this one. So we have two groups. The PR group, where a mentor and a mentee. So you're going to get headsets. So we're going to put the PR group on this side. So if you want to be part of the PR breakout session, you need to be on this side. If you want to be, we have another group that is the business group. You can stay on this side. Okay, I'll take that again. So in the PR group, for example, we have the lead partner, CMC Connect LLP, Mr. Yomi Badejo Kusoya, with his mentee, Jesu Tofumi Akinde, who is a PR and comms executive and LinkedIn top public relations voice. So you're going to get a headset. You're going to be joining their conversation here. All right, so if you're for the PR breakout group, please stay in these two, or let's just say this so that we can all be together. All right? So if you're with the business group, where we have Joycey Awoshika, who is the founder, managing director, Oriki Group, and with her mentee, Ayobami Awode, who is the chief of staff, Harvest. You can stay here. All right, so whilst you take your positions, if you're in the business group, please stay here. If you're in the PR group, let's do this very quietly and very quickly. Let's stay here. But before we start, okay. All right. So before that session starts, let's all take a seat for a second, okay? Because I'd like to bring up somebody who's also going to talk to us for a few minutes. She's in the public sector as well, and she's a fellow of the Latif Jakonde Leadership Academy. So she's going to talk to you very quickly, talk to us about Fellowship for Public Service. Fellowship for Public what? Fellowship for Public what? Fantastic. I wanted to know if you're following. Good. Thank you. So I'm going to bring up Orifunke Lawal. Orifunke Lawal. Please put your hands together for her. She's going to come up very quickly to talk to us about Fellowship for Public Service. Please welcome her very quickly, elegantly as she looks, to talk to us for a few minutes, and then we'll commence our breakout session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
How are we all doing? Thank you very much for that response. I am really privileged to be here today. Typically, I should be interviewing somebody I consider a mentor, Mrs. Abidakun Olubusola. But due to unforeseen circumstances, she's the permanent secretary for establishments and pensions, trainings in Lagos State. But due to unexpected circumstances, I'm just going to be standing in. My name is Ori Funke Lawal. I'm a fellow of the Latif Jakonde Leadership Academy, a one-year non-partisan program for young people who want to get into politics, governance, and public service. And in that capacity, I also serve as a special assistant to His Excellency, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu. I have a background, a strong background actually, in media and comms. And so being here is not just being, in public service, but also coming from the media and comms sector and seeing how that works, coming from the corporate sector and then now moving into government. So this is such a privilege. Thank you very much, Tolu Combs, for this opportunity. And I hope that after this, my 3 minutes or how many minutes I have left, people would be inspired to go into government, governance or politics. How many young ladies would like to go into governance here? Thank you. I can see some hands up here. So when I applied to join the Latif Jakonde Leadership Academy, last year, thereabouts, when I applied to join. I joined because I wondered, I saw a lot of problems in the world. I saw a lot of problems I thought I saw a lot of problems in government. And then I was like, I need to see exactly how decisions are made. I need to see how things are done. And I'd seen a lot of crisis management on the outside, and then I wanted to get in. And that was how I got in, went through the entire application, which was rigorous, by the way. And interestingly, Mrs. Abidako was one of my competence assessors then, so it would have been a big pleasure to meet with her. Being in government now, and just thinking about the things that we've shared so far, and we've learned so far, a couple of things that I've learned that you can also pay attention. First of all, permit me to say that when you look at all the states in Nigeria, there's no state that has PR on lockdown, much as Lagos State does. Who agrees with me? No other state has PR and comms on lockdown as much as Lagos State does. And what that usually looks like, number one, is in clarity of mission. So there's always the need to be clear in communication. If the government wants to do something, they have to be super clear. The second thing I want to also mention is that there is community engagement. I'm not sure I've heard that so far, but in government, a crucial part of PR is community engagement, where you move around and then you go and meet the people right at where they are, instead of assuming that they're going to understand exactly what you're doing. In government also, you have stakeholder management, and a number of the speakers we've had so far have talked about stakeholder management. In fact, in government, stakeholder management is practically one of the most crucial things, critical things, because there are so many people who are on the and who have to be paid attention to. So you need to pay attention to stakeholders who are in government, stakeholders who are out of government, PR, media platforms. You have the people themselves, because every problem that you want to solve, there are always holders. And in government, one thing I've also learned, and that for those of you who will be coming into government will learn, is that usually it's about the greatest good for the great number of people. So sometimes you make a decision that doesn't look like a good decision right away, but it's a good decision in the long term. And how do you convince people to buy into that vision? How do you convince people to, agree with you? Instead of coming on Twitter to cuss you out, it is PR and communications. So if you're interested in joining Latif Jakone Leadership Academy, you can meet me. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram at LJ Academy. I didn't plan to do this, but I believe that, this is God ordained. So thank you very much for listening to me, and see you at the top.
Please, a round of applause for her. Orifunke, thank you so much. Thank you very much for that. All right, so I can see you've all got your headsets. If you don't have your headsets, let me see your hand up. Okay, I'm sure they will get to you. All right, so you have your headset, and you'll only be hearing from the mentor and mentee in front of you. All right, so I'm sure this is going to be an exciting session. I absolutely love it. Please, a round of applause for Elion Barib. All right, thank you so much for coming. All right, so our mentors, are they here? Okay, fantastic. So please put your hands together for your mentors on the PR side. Yomi Badejo Okusoya. Ladies and gentlemen, come on. Welcome your mentor. And of course, his mentee is also here, Jesu Tofumi Akinde. You are welcome as well. Thank you so much for joining us here. And on this side, on the business side, please put your hands together for your mentor. I'm echoing. Please put your hands together for your mentor, Joyce Awoshika. Is she here? Is she here? Oh, okay. And her mentee is Ayobami Awode. Please put your hands together for them. You're welcome. Please take your seat and enjoy.
We'll shine like the sun. We're a great nation. Though we are many people, different tribes,
Idowu please come up to do a vote of thanks? Praise Idowu. Is she here?
Generations to come.
It's been a wonderful moment at the Experiencing Prayer Conference. As we close the Experiencing Prayer Conference, we want to express this gratitude to everyone who has taken out time to attend the conference, both online and on-site. And here today as you've made the Experiencing Prayer Conference success. And to our speakers, thank you for honoring the invite. Thank you for seeing the essence of what we do. Very big thank you. And to our esteemed speaker, our esteemed partner, Wema Bank British Council, to mention but thank you for seeing the relief of what you are seeing our commitment to advancing for the conference. And for just a moment, I believe that the founder of Nigerian Women Public Relations, Mrs. Tolulope Olorundero, serves a please can we call Mrs. Olorundero? Let's look. Your fish has made the Experiencing Conference a reality. And as you back to you, she's made sure you make her all lessons learned today in your respective field. Thank you so much. We look forward to welcoming you again at Experiencing Conference 2025. Thank you so much for your time. We love you.